Melvin Wayne Osmond was born on August 28, 1951 in Ogden, Utah, to George and Olive Osmond. Wayne was the fourth of 9 children and was raised in a family deeply rooted in faith, music, creativity, and love. His musical journey began alongside his brothers as part of a barbershop quartet. The Osmond brothers gained national attention in the 1960s after performing at Disneyland, leading to a regular spot on the Andy Williams Show. In the 1970s, the Osmonds became a global sensation with chart-topping hits such as One Bad Apple, Yo-Yo, Down by the Lazy River, and Crazy Horses. Our dad's multifaceted talents shone brightly within the group. In addition to being the baritone vocalist, he was also an accomplished guitarist and played many other instruments. Our favorite, although not perhaps the neighborhood's favorite, was the bagpipes. His creative contributions to the band were vital, as he often co-wrote songs and helped to shape the group's distinctive sound that bridged pop, rock, and country genres. Together, the family sold over 77 million records worldwide. When asked about his career, he always spoke fondly of 2 elements: playing his guitar and telling jokes on stage. Dad's personal life was equally inspiring. He married our mom, Kathleen White, in 1974, and the couple shared a beautiful partnership. They celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary on December 13th, 2024. It was a beautiful, snowy Friday the 13th, just as it had been 50 years earlier. Together, they raised 5 children, creating a home filled with faith, laughter, and music. His family was central to his life, and he took immense pride in his roles as a husband, father, and grandfather. He had the unique ability to make each member of his family feel that they were his favorite. Although, to be clear, I really am his favorite, and always will be. But I'm getting some comments back here, don't listen. But I will say that he made everyone around him feel like they were important, valued, and loved, and that was one of his gifts, and it is one of his gifts for sure, which makes sense why they think that they're also the favorite. So, Dad had a great sense of humor, which was profoundly obvious to anyone who knew him. He would study joke books and try out new material on his family and friends. He is well known for his expertly integrating his jokes in conversations at opportune moments, consistently keeping us all laughing on and off stage. He loves to give. One time, Sarah complimented his shirt, and he literally tried to give it to her. Take it off, get the shirt off of his back to her. He also tried to give me gifts for running him around to the hardware stores. He really wanted me to have a chisel. He was very passionate that I had a chisel. We went on lots of adventures together to Home Depot, the Metal Yard, the Dump, and so many more places. Most of our outings ended with him saying, "Please don't tell your mom," referring to whatever hilarious occurrences had transpired that day. These outings were a product of the fact that he loved working with his hands. He enjoyed building things and knew how to fix everything. Notable projects were wiring our entire basement by himself, rebuilding our 2-story deck, and designing and prototyping new inventions. He also loved to feed people who would come to his home. It didn't matter if you were a neighbor down the street, family, or the tile installer. Feeding people was his love language. If you were lucky enough, he'd give you something from one or more of his favorite food groups: cookies, cake, candy, ice cream, fruit, or carrots. He ate so many carrots once that his skin turned a shade of orange, and it didn't bother him. He loved the color and he wore it proudly. Dad was also an experienced pilot. He was a commercial pilot for several years and also taught flight lessons. He especially enjoyed flying Learjets and once flew with the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. His experience in aeronautics gave him a solid stomach, which made him the best amusement park buddy. He loved to ride roller coasters with us. He loved the gospel and was a high priest in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He took every opportunity to share his testimony. Although known for his jovial personality, Dad was an incredibly deep thinker, and each of his children can point to times where his guidance and wisdom had a profound impact on shaping their lives. He knew what was of ultimate importance in life and never shied away from focusing on and discussing with his children what mattered most.
Dad developed this perspective in part due to the many health challenges that he faced. In 1995, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, which he courageously fought and overcame. A stroke in 2012, profound hearing loss, and another battle with cancer further tested his resilience, but Dad approached each challenge with unshakable optimism.
I had a lot of sweet but serious conversations with him, often centered around his life, trials, and the gospel. We would often both end up in tears, and he said I inherited his teardrop.
The funeral of Wayne Osmond, was held just a couple of days ago, and we saw a very befitting and emotional ceremony that was attended by family, that was attended by friends, that was attended by a couple of fans who actually came together to pay their own tributes to the legend who passed on just a couple of weeks ago. We saw Merrill Osmond together with the whole Osmond family, coming together to give a proper send-off to the legend who actually, like I've told you, passed on a few days ago. Early on, Merrill Osmond had paid tribute to his brother following his death in an emotional Facebook page where he said that when I learned that my dear brother Wayne had a massive stroke, my immediate response was to fall to my knees and pray for him to receive the assurance that his mission had been accomplished and he was successful in this endeavor in many ways. I immediately drove to the hospital in Salt Lake City to see him, and I was able to say my goodbyes. So my brother was a saint before he came into this world, and he will live as an even greater saint that he came in. We saw the family of Wayne Osmond, his son, the kids, the daughters actually spoke at the funeral. Like I will be giving you in a couple of clips here and there. You should be watching our next uploads. And of course, they cracked a few jokes. They revealed and poured their hearts out to the public that their father was a very great father, a very great grandfather, a person who actually was very humorous, a person who was a man of people, a very huge character, and of course a very talented musician, and on top of all, a very great human being. So they paid tributes, and of course so many family members attended this ceremony, and we had a couple of speakers. We saw the Osmonds speaking, and of course it was coupled with a lot of emotions, a lot of tears, and of course it was a befitting ceremony which was given to the legend. All we can say in this moment in time is to continue praying for the family, the fans, and everyone who was really very close to the Osmonds, and most especially Wayne Osmond. Rest in power, King.